Gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from South Carolina, Mr. Norm, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Powell. I think other people have noted about the crisis in the office building market across this country. That's a line of work we're in. I can tell you it's real. I can tell you the buildings that are effectively vacant, it's going to have an effect on the taxes paid. It's going to have an effect on rents. As far as affordability in housing, you know, the rates are one thing, but my good friends on the other side of the aisle don't realize that housing has got over 200 components to it. One of the biggest is gas prices. And as long as we're buying gas from countries that hate America and don't manufacture our own, housing isn't coming down. I don't know how you define affordable anyway. It's going to continue a downward slide. And I'm from a state in South Carolina that people are moving in. And we're not going to have the housing starts that we should have because of the policies of the Biden administration, which is train wrecking this entire economy. On regulations, on Regulation 2, which is has the guardrails for credit card fees, how do you answer and I know the caps you're looking at adjusting that. How do you answer the charge that this is really should not be, you're getting in the way of banks charging fees according to what their costs are? How does the regulations affect that, particular Regulation 2?
Is this a Fed regulation we're talking about,
Yes,
or is this the CFPB regulation?
No, this is, for my record, it's the Federal Reserve has finalized the routing restrictions and proposed tighter and adjusting the price caps that currently exist. Is that not right?
It doesn't ring a bell with me. It may well be right. I'm not familiar.
If you
with
could
that.
look at that, I know all the credit unions and banks have got some concerns on that.
I will come back to you on that.
Okay, I appreciate it. Do you need a letter from us? Or
No, we'll come back to you.
Okay, thank you. CRA, for those of us who have been involved with banking for a long time, the regulations having a clear set of standards that we abide by and know where to put the money to. When should we have regulations out that we can read about what's going to be acceptable and what's not?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
The regulations on the changes in regulations for CRA.
Right. What about it? I'm sorry, I missed your question.
When are the regulations going to be out that we'll know, the banks will know what's acceptable for CRA and what's not acceptable?
So the final rule, of course, is out. I think we're working on. There's a lot of work to do. The requirements don't really kick in, most of them, for a couple of years at least. So I think we're working on the follow-up regulations.
Okay, that's real important for all the banks because they want to make sure they qualify, and where the dollars are spent, they need to make sure that it's going into the right spot because the credits won't be applied unless that's it. The Fed now, where the Federal, I think, Reserve launched and is operating this now, how is the participation rate going with that?
Slow, real slow. It's early days. There are network effects. These things they go slow until they don't. And it was the same way with ACH. You may remember back in the day.
Right.
So we're at fewer than 500 banks are in there now. We're working away at it. We expect it'll take some time, but it's there, and we think it'll be beneficial. We had a lot of support from smaller banks to build it, as you know.
Is the pricing below cost?
I don't believe so. No, not longer run cost.
Okay. Okay, that's all the questions I have. Thank you for being here.